Many people were killed and more than 100 others injured after Russia launched a massive overnight missile and drone attack on Ukraine on Tuesday, June 2nd, according to Ukrainian authorities. The attack targeted Kyiv and several other cities across the country, with explosions continuing from the night into the daytime hours. In the capital Kyiv, at least 4 people were killed and more than 60 injured, including 3 children. Residential buildings and civilian infrastructure were damaged in 8 districts of the city. In the central city of Dnipro, rescue workers searched through the rubble of damaged apartment buildings and recovered the bodies of a 3-year-old child, a mother, and her 8-year-old son. According to Ukrainian officials, Russia fired hundreds of drones and dozens of missiles during the assault. Ukraine's Air Force said strikes or debris were recorded at dozens of locations across the country. Responding to the strikes, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy said Ukraine urgently needed stronger air defenses.
Жорстокий був удар. Більше ніж 70 ракет, багато балістики, більше ніж 650 дронів за ніч. Вдень сьогодні росіяни продовжили атаки, ще близько 100 дронів було. На жаль, рівень постачання для нашої ППО зараз не дозволяє збивати значну частину ракет. Були влучання. 130 людей постраждали, на жаль. 22 людини загинули. 2 дітей серед них. Мої співчуття усім, хто втратив рідних та близьких. Вкотре Путін зі своїм божевіллям перемогли життя звичайних дітей. Житлові будинки, поліклініку в Києві. Ми знаємо від розвідки, що масований удар може бути і цієї ночі. Будь ласка, дуже вас прошу, звертайте увагу на тривогу. Всім партнерам разом, усім в Європі потрібно і надалі працювати, щоб були ракети для нашої ППО, щоб були необхідні системи і життєво важливі розвіддані та інші речі, які допомагають рятувати життя людей.
The attacks also drew condemnation from the United Nations, which renewed calls for a ceasefire.
The Secretary General strongly condemns the latest overnight large-scale missile and drone attacks by the armed forces of the Russian Federation on Ukrainian cities, including Kyiv, Dnipro, and Kharkiv. These attacks reportedly killed at least 20 people, including 2 children, and injured more than 100 others, and resulted in widespread destruction of residential and other civilian infrastructure. Once again, we emphasize that attacks against civilians and civilian infrastructures are prohibited under international humanitarian law and must end immediately. We also reiterate the Secretary General's urgent appeal for immediate de-escalation, leading to a full, immediate, and unconditional ceasefire in this conflict.
Russia, however, said the strikes were aimed at military-industrial facilities. The Russian Defense Ministry said it had carried out a massive attack using long-range precision weapons against defense-related targets in Kyiv, Kharkiv, Zaporizhia, Dnipropetrovsk, Poltava, Sumy, and several other regions. The latest attack comes amid a sharp escalation in hostilities between the two sides. In recent weeks, Ukraine has intensified its long-range drone operations deep inside Russian territory, targeting air bases, military infrastructure, and oil facilities. Russian President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday linked the latest strikes to what Moscow says were recent Ukrainian attacks on Russian-controlled areas. Putin specifically referred to a May 22nd drone strike on a college dormitory in Starobilsk in the Russian-controlled Luhansk region, which Russia says killed 21 people. Ukraine, however, said the target was a Russian drone pilot training center. The attack also comes as ceasefire efforts remain deadlocked. US-led attempts to bring both sides to an agreement have failed to produce a breakthrough. Ukrainian President Zelenskyy has backed calls for an unconditional ceasefire proposed by US President Donald Trump, but Putin has so far rejected the proposal.